Today is part one of getting the most from Claude Code. I'm going to let you in on this little secret, and it's called UltraThink. If you're not using this keyword, this is some secret sauce that we're about to cover, along with some other things like planning mode and things that I use to currently ship some features with Claude Code. If you're actually interested in checking this out in a little bit more detail, I actually have a blog post written up on fernando.ai, and it's called Getting the Most from Claude Code. So if you want to just go ahead and review this, you can go ahead and take a look at this there as well, or kind of follow along with me. The thing that we're going to cover today is this cool planning mode feature. And so we're going to try to use plan mode to help me fix some bugs in my app. So I already have an existing repo. I'm currently using this inside of Cursor, so we're going to be covering that as well. The next thing we're also going to kind of cover is thinking harder. So there are 4 different modes for thinking harder that you want to take a look at. And just as a high level summary right now, the UltraThink is the most way of taking advantage of the thinking token window, and I'll explain a little bit more as we kind of go into that as well. So if you're going to be watching this video, this is just going to be a really quick live stream primer here on kind of how I use Claude Code, and you're going to just kind of walk me through. I'm going to walk you through how I do this type of stuff live. And so yeah, if you have any comments, go ahead and drop them below. At the very beginning, I'm just going to make sure I get this information across, then I kind of catch up with the comments in a little bit. So appreciate everyone who's been able to join right now and also drop some comments. I see Christian Codes, I see Elal, I also see Madigir as well in there. So let's go ahead and kind of get started here, folks, and we'll get going. So in Cursor, the way I have this loaded up is I have Claude up here already installed. And if you already have Claude Code installed, once you have it installed in the IDE, you should probably see something up here for it to run. And now that it's currently running, I actually already have everything all set up here. And what I'm going to go ahead and do in my app on Transcribes, I basically what my app does is I allow you to upload any video, and then I transcribe it pretty much at lightning speed using some of the providers here. So in my latest version of the app that I've just fixed, I have this kind of UI layout that I want to fix a little bit better, or kind of help improve. I added this custom dictionary, and I want to be able to have the custom dictionary maybe available here on the side or somewhere on the side so that my users can kind of have a better experience using the app. Because right now, if you use the app and you want to add some custom dictionary stuff, it'll only be available once you take it through the second step. But I think this interface, while it's really nice, I want to be able to have its own interface outside of this type of thing. So if people want to be able to do that themselves. So I want to see if I can kind of maybe describe that or fix kind of, I don't know, for me that the UI seems a little clunky. This is just a V1 prototype, and I want to see if I can just kind of give it some screenshots. So first thing I'll do is just going to go ahead and take some screenshots here and show this to Claude Code. So that way it can kind of understand what I'm trying to achieve. And then from there, I'm going to see if I can kind of help it do its planning phase. So what I do is here's Shift Tab and then hit Shift Tab again. Now we have the screen planning mode feature. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is just kind of open up a Finder window. And then in my Finder window, I have the actual screenshots on my desktop. And so I have these 2 screenshots. And in Cursor, what I can do is actually just go ahead and drag them in here. And you have to hold Shift key. It says hold Shift to drop into the editor. And then now it drops them into the editor. But you see it only dropped 1 file. So it's like, oh, I can only drop 1 file at a time. Dang, that sucks. Which one did I drop in? So I dropped in the one that says .447. So now I have to drop in the second one, hit Shift, and now you see the 2 files there as well. So they're separated by these little types of things. And then I want to start typing in some commands. So I hit Shift Enter a couple times. And then what I'm just going to go ahead and do is kind of dictate kind of what I want Claude to do. As of now, I don't really have like a really solid, here's the layout. I don't know. I'm a really poor designer. I have good taste, but I want to kind of leverage the expertise of the model here to kind of think through it a little bit more. So let's just kind of talk to it and see what it comes up with. So below is the layout for my dictionary for when users are trying to update and add information here. As you can see in the desktop view, there's a little bit of scrolling and the simplicity is kind of now taken away. I want to see if we can kind of come up with a better layout for my app so that it'll be a little bit more intuitive for users at this step. Secondly, I would also like a way for the users to be able to modify the dictionary, maybe in the sidebar. So like, for example, they can select the sidebar and do some modifications there. But actually, I think I'm just going to leave that feature out because I think that's kind of a little bit confusing. So if you're a normal person, you're just hitting delete, it's going to take you forever to delete all these words. One of the things you can do is Control E. And so Control E will basically, Option, Control E, Control W. Wait, Control W, sorry, Control W. Wait, what am I doing? Option delete will basically let you kind of go back to the words here. And then if you do like, I think it was Control U, my key commands are kind of messed up right now, but if you just hit Option and you hit delete, basically it will delete the words pretty fast there. And so this is the first part of it. I basically just wanted to review my screenshots and see if I can come up with a better layout. And I want you to UltraThink when you are reviewing my UltraThink and use sub agents in parallel to review the code. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and it's currently thinks I'm in here, but I think my UI layout, I think it's actually this specific thing. So when I'm in this specific file, you see it's actually now understanding that this is like where the context is for Claude Code. And so I just want to make sure I point it to the right file. I can also select the specific files in the user interface so that it will know like these other files are relevant to the context, which could be possibly helpful. And so I would love to do that. And maybe that could be helpful, but we can kind of see what Claude Code is going to do. I have the max plan, so let's go ahead and hit enter. Enter here. Cool. So now we're just going to watch it do its thing. And so what it's basically doing now, I used a keyword here called UltraThink and this other thing called like parallel agents. So it's going to try to see if it can read the screenshots. I'm going to say, just go ahead and add my desktop as a working directory because in the future, I'll have more screenshots and I want to feed it over to it. And here, what's going to happen is it's going to try to like read multiple files in different context windows by popping into parallel agents. And so each of them are going to have their own type of window for the context. Like I think it's usually 128 to 256K tokens. And then it says it's thinking now. So it's actually looking through the screenshots. I can see screenshot shows custom dictionary. So it's now telling us what it's thinking. Now I'll analyze the transcription form layout using parallel agents to review different aspects of the code. So this is pretty cool. So it's kicked off 3 agents, one to review the UI layout and another one to analyze the dictionary component and another one to research the design patterns. So one of the reasons I do this is because I have a design patterns document and it's actually already found it. And so it's going to understand with one specific subagent without killing my entire context, what information it needs to hand back to the main agent so that it can understand all together. So it's basically like having one project manager plus 3 engineers to go do the different tasks for me. So that's pretty awesome, right? And so you can see them kind of happening in parallel, task 1, task 2, task 3, and then they're going to come back. And for me in the user interface, I'll see probably 2 different pop-ups or 3 different pop-ups to approve or do different things. It's a little bit confusing, but this is kind of how the interface works. And I do find it pretty interesting. I remember we started off with my UI file here. And then this is kind of what I call like the gateway drug to all your other apps, because a lot of the stuff is already imported and it's pretty smart about understanding what's going on. So the plan to fix the scrolling on issue on the desktop. So the transcription form has unnecessarily nested scrollable containers. I know it's a V1. I vibe coded this whole thing. This is how we launched. This is how we got our first paying customers. The form container has this within its already scrollable comparents. So creating double scroll bars. Okay, remove the scrollable container and change to this. And this allows for the form to use parent's natural scrolling. Adjust the dictionary word length to this. Okay. And then I think what I want to do is kind of say, I want to keep planning because I want to make sure this also works for mobile and tablet as well. And it doesn't cause any regressions there because there is no mention of that. So I just want to make sure that it is aware of that. So the form should now naturally flow. So I just want to make sure it says expected results, a single scroll bar. Okay, this is really cool. Minimal change to resolve scrolling while maintaining the existing. Okay, so I'll say no, keep planning. So I'm just going to do that. And you see there's another pop-up window, and this is reviewing the improved dictionary layout plan. So based on my analysis of the implementation, I've implemented several opportunities to create a more compact, intuitive layout. So here's my plan. So it's basically trying to come up with like a dictionary selection is embedded within this type of thing. So here's the structure, and then combine the title count into a separate line. Okay. Combine word list, integrate a word experience, better visual hierarchy. I'll say no, keep planning. Let's see. And then what else here? The last agent came back with another plan. Design patterns to apply for dictionary feature. Here are the design patterns I found that can make the dictionary feature more intuitive and space efficient. So the sidebar uses motion div, compact the status display pattern, progress reveal pattern, design rules. Okay, I like this type of thing here. Multi-step clear progress indicators. Yeah, that's already happens here. So collapse state by default. Okay, so I think what it's saying here is it's just going to keep the state collapse until the user interacts with it, which I kind of like actually, to be honest. Add a popover sheet. So install Shan's sheet to move the dictionary to a side panel. Not really big fan of that. Add a word count, floating action bar, a more intuitive adding or improved. Okay. Inline badge display keeps the form clean focus. So the dictionary feature, expand to reveal interface. So custom X dictionary X words. I do like this actual thing. So I think I might actually try this. This would be really, really cool. I totally forgot that I was going to set up a branch for this, and I haven't really done that yet. So I think I'm still right now on the main branch. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a branch for this so that I don't accidentally commit code into my main branch. Because if I do commit code in the main branch, that means it's going straight to production, and I don't want to really mess up my users for that. So, okay. So I like this plan. Yes, and manually approve edits. I think yes and manually approve edits would be kind of interesting. But before we do that, I want to make sure I get into the right branch here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit right here on the right left-hand side. Just going to click this thing, right click. Oops, I don't think I need this. This is just right click here and say create branch. Call it feature / dictionary layout fix. Okay, great. I'm going to publish the branch so it's available. And then I think we should already be checked out onto the branch. Perfect. Okay, cool. All right, so I like this plan here. So yes, and manually improve edits. Okay. And so I think what's happening now is I'm still in like, I think one of the sub agents is going to do something and the other one isn't. So that's what's a little bit confusing here. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm going to just add some additional context before we continue with the plan. So I liked one of the proposed improvements, which showed a plan where it was collapsible and expandable, and we would basically reveal the dictionary and also show that there's X amount of words available. I also wanted to keep in mind that we wanted to improve the plan so that this also works on tablets and also on mobile. I don't want to regress any of those user experiences. So regress. Yeah, perfect. And so I'm just going to have it, please UltraThink and give me a detailed plan before we proceed with the code changes. Okay, so now I'm basically just telling it to, you know, like for me, it's really important to understand what the LLM is going to do and also document that so that I can reference it myself. Because sometimes I'll go to the bathroom, I'll take a break, I want to come back. I also want to make sure that I don't forget that we didn't implement certain things. It's pretty important, especially if you're handing off features to a language model like this, to understand, you know, what is it working on? What is it done and was it not done? I think most important is like what isn't done is probably pretty important. I also like to try to review the code before it goes in so that we understand what's going on. So it's still kicked off 3 other sub agents. And I think based off of one of them that I improved, it's going to try to add that in. So it says like, hey, this does not exist. I also don't know if it's actually understanding if we're using Tailwind v4 or not. It should. Find collapsible patterns. Yeah. Task is now checking for ShadCN components. Yes. And now understands that I'm using bun X. So that's pretty cool. That's all written in my rules files, which is, or it's all looking through there. Yeah. Bro, commit to production. That's some. Are you currently using Opus for planning? Yes, I'm currently using Opus. I have the max plan, and that's kind of what it is. What is my monthly reoccurring income right now? Abel, let me go ahead and check that in another window. I know I have like a couple of paid users and stuff. I want to say like I have 5. And then someone just paid for the yearly plan. Big shout outs to Lisa. She's so awesome. A really good supporter of the channel here. She paid for a yearly plan. And I definitely appreciate that. So yeah, I'll have to do some of that calculations soon. I've mostly just been focusing on trying to get the feedback as fast as possible and try to iterate so that my users can have a really good experience here. So let's just take a look at this quick plan. Damn. All right, so let's see. Okay. Here is Claude's plan. So responsive design, so it's going to do container structure breakpoints. Okay. The title visibility looks pretty good. Is hidden on mobile. Okay, this is good. So now it actually got this information. This is good. This prevents me from going back multiple rounds saying, okay, now fix this, now fix this. I just want to make sure it's just good from the get-go. And this is just kind of the way I'm working with agents. It keeps scrolling down. So I wonder if there's some subtasks or something that are going on that are still kicking off. So the other part of it is that there's a dictionary section here, and it's going to follow this type of convention. And it's also got the model selection stuff that's there as far as a pattern, and then the key responses as well. And then what I also like is the design system compliance. So for those who don't know, on rayfernando.ai, I have a plan, and this is one of my rules, and this is actually what it picked up in its searching for implementing this plan. This is why it's important to plan this way. I have a plan in here called the design reviews, automate UI standards with Cursor and LLMs. So in here, I have a really detailed blog, and I might do another live stream dedicated specifically to this design system. But there are these rules. If you go to the side here, it says rules. If you put these rules in a markdown file inside of your repo, Claude Code will find them. And if you tell it to, make a UI change like this, it's going to actually take this into consideration. So that it's actually telling us about the 8-point grid system that's in here. So like it's already picked that up. And it's like saying, okay, this is now that I'm thinking about this, I'm going to go ahead and apply it. Amazing. This is why I love Claude Code so much, because it's just really good at finding these extra things and putting them into its context and letting us really kind of go through 60, 30, 10 color rule. This is what we have here. I mean, this is a really detailed blog post on, how I used it and how, all this type of stuff and why it's really important to have this. So you have like design consistency. So instead of just telling the LLM to generate UI, it's going to actually now follow this pattern. And so our UI is going to now have this beautiful hierarchy, which will follow all the time, instead of just generating all these random classes everywhere. And that's how you get basically more consistency in your designs. Mobile tablet layout observations. So it's even taking a look at that. Recommendations for collapsible implementation as well. I was like, yo, this looks cool. So I'm just going to yellow now. So at this point, I'm just like, yo, you look good. And then now this is the second plan from the second agent. It came back here saying, I'm going to add the ShadCN UI collapsible component. So it's going to do these commands. These are commands I also had in my rules files in my repo. It says like I have a design review in here. If we go to design.mtc, this is literally a rules file. In here, I actually lay out, let's see if I could show you. This is part of the rules stuff too, which kind of tells it about how to implement things. And I didn't really have to give it the file, which is really nice. I would spend a lot of time just selecting files in Cursor to just give it the right context. And Claude Code did that for me, which is kind of a big reason why I use it. So in here, I actually have a thing called bun. Actually, it's in project. So in here, in my project rules, I have a thing that says, this is my design system, and I use ShadCN for the UI components, and then this is how I install them using this specific command. So it knows to do that based off of these rules here. This is why this is so good. All right, cool. I'm super hyped about this stuff, and I love that these systems kind of pick these things up. All right, so which to choose according if you need multiple collapsible or collapsible. Both components will integrate seamlessly. I'm just going to say YOLO. All right. Based on my research, here's a plan to implement. Okay, so it's going to basically extract the dictionary section into a separate component. Oh, I think what I also want to do is for this one, I also want to make sure it follows the Convex rules. And I have the Convex rules file because there is a bunch of reactivity in my app. So I want to make sure that I'm going to say no, keep planning. And I'm going to say, and drag this in, be sure to update the plan to use the Convex rules attached. Okay. And so I want to basically use these rules files, which describes the reactivity of, so Convex is basically my database provider. And one big advantage of using Convex is the fact that all my data kind of sits back there. And then from the front end, all I'm doing is just basically creating what I call like a window, right? So it's like a window to the database. As you make changes on the front end, it's just going to push it immediately to the database and we're going to see that live. So you can have like 5 windows open and I add one dictionary component there. It's going to show up on all of them. So I'll show you real quick what that looks like. It's nice because I don't have to deal about syncing states and then kind of canceling stuff out if one rule is updated somewhere else and another one isn't. So on my app here, I'm going to open up like 2 different windows and I'll show you what this looks like right now. So app.raytranscribes again. So 2 different windows. It's just less code for me and everything. And then they already have such a good experience with this type of thing. I don't really have to sweat anything here. So I'll just select a file. And so if we add one, like for example, change this one to, so if we go up here, I'll scroll YOLO. Boom. It's like already updated. So, and then if I just delete this one here and hit delete, go with that. If I, like for example, I delete this word here, it's gone there, grok. So yeah, I don't have to deal with conflicts. I don't have to tell the user to like refresh the page because something is out of sync. It's all on the database. Like I don't think about it. I don't have to think about caching either. Convex is handling all the caching. So I don't have to like write extra code to say, okay, invalidate this cache on the front end and then do this to the back end. It's like, no, I don't deal with that. I just say, here's here's my thing and go ahead and grab it. Convex has some nice rules, which is really awesome, which describe how we can set this up so the LLM can follow and generate the code accordingly. So now that it's reviewed this plan, it's going to go ahead and create the customizable plan using the specific rules that we have toggled here. So it has all this detailed information. It talks about state management now, which is what we want, and implementation steps as well. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's just YOLO, friends. Sweet. Yo, Dazine, how's it going? Bro, the styling tip saves me lots of headache. I'm telling you, bro, this is like the way to do it. Dedicate one live to test GenSpark super agent. I'm actually not using Manus again. I don't know. Right now, I'm just kind of trying to focus on shipping my apps. And if something comes by my radar that's really, really good, I'll have to take a look at it. Do you think Opus is still better than Grok 4? Grok 4. Right now, Opus is the king, bro. Grok 4, I think they're cooking. And I still need to do some more testing with it. But as of now, the coding agent is not ready yet. So whatever stuff I've been doing with Grok 4 and the way that I use it with repo prompt has been okay. I've been using it Grok 4 in Cursor a little bit, and I do like it, but I don't have a Cursor Ultra plan. I just have the $20 a month Pro plan. And to be honest, I'd rather use Claude Code because Claude Code is so damn good right now. And I'm already paying $200 for Claude Code. And you see the type of sauce that I'm working with. This is just my workflow. And I wanted to kind of get you in on this so that you can understand. So just to kind of summarize a little bit of what we've done so far on rayfernando.ai we're kind of going over our getting the most from Claude Code part 1. And as of now, what I've done is like using plan mode extensively to make sure I have the plan set up for the agents and so that they're ready to go. The second keyword I use, which is called UltraThink. And so UltraThink is a specific keyword amongst many. So there's 4 of these keywords. This is going to give you at least 32,000 tokens of a thinking window for the agents to do additional like extended thinking. And technically the accuracy is a lot better. A lot of times in this planning mode, I want to make sure I'm fairly accurate. And so the way that I'm able to get even more sauce out of this agent is by saying, I want you to additionally run some sub agents in parallel. So that way each agent will have their own context window, their own thinking window as well. And that's going to give me a lot more accuracy. And we saw those 3 agents. I didn't tell it how many, it just figured itself out. One was a designer. It went after all the design stuff. One went after my rules files and grabbed different stuff. Another one went through the code and tried to understand what's happening on all these different layers. Each of them reported back these different plans, which we then kind of iterated on. And then sort of you said, yes, no, let's make these types of changes. We made that additional pass. And then we finally told it to review our big plan before we wrote our code. So that's really important in this day and age, especially if you're coding with AI, to get that plan right. So then we can hand it off to Claude Code. So right now, Claude Code is just cooking for us while I'm just chilling on the stream talking with y'all, right? So that's basically a quick summary of what we've been covering. Whether it works or not, we'll see. But we're kind of seeing it kind of work through this entire plan, which is super beautiful to me. Like it found my rules, it found the design stuff. Yeah, as an added bonus for those who are watching, I actually have a design guide. And for those who are saying like, what's that all about? It's in rayfernando.ai. It says design reviews, automate AI standards. So that rules file is actually in my actual project, and that's kind of what it's been able to pick up. So the code that it will generate will follow this specific guideline. You can add this to your project, tweak it as necessary. I'm using Tailwind v4 because I like the way everything kind of is all unified. And I think that's just the way to go forward, to be honest, for doing these types of things to get some consistency. So now I think what it looks like it's doing, it's moving code. So it's going to move it out of the form and it's going to basically refactor some of this code here. So that's pretty cool. And then now it's basically saying, I'm going to now create a pencil. And then, so I'm just kind of following the to-dos here. So it's test responsive behavior, mobile layouts, refactor regressions. So I think it's already done. If we go to the diff view here on the left side, we're going to see all the diffs that it's done. So far, what it's done is it's basically taken this stuff out here, removed all this code, and then created a new file called a collapsible dictionary. So this is a new file that's going to deal with the dictionary that's going to be collapsible. And it's a nice refactor actually, and it's actually using my Convex rules and stuff. So it's actually grabbing, using my hooks from the use dictionary stuff. And these hooks are from Convex. So if I just do here, like these are all my mutations from the Convex database. So it's basically making a call using use query. And these are the specific, functions in my Convex databases for my queries and mutations. And it's pretty nice that, Claude Code wrote all of this. And as we can see, it's really well written. It's set up as a hook itself so that it can, be used later on. And that's kind of like the power of some of these compounding things in software, is the fact that now it's able to refactor, pull code out of the master component, because this is literally a prototype, put it into its own component here for use dictionary or a collapsible dictionary. So we've transformed the way we're going to view this, right? The data is still there. Now it's being transformed into the view. And then we also have like a little UI component that's for collapsible. And this is something that got installed using ShadCN. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Did it finish already? Yeah. Okay. So the implementation preserves all existing functionality while improving the layout, especially on mobile devices where vertical space is precious. Precious. The collapsible pattern. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Let's see here. So now all we have to do is just, okay, bunx convex dev. I don't want to deploy this code yet. And so I'm going to go ahead and run the commands here to make sure I don't think I changed any convex functions. I'm going to hit the plus sign here and I'm going to do bun dev. So that should run us here. And then I should be able to just click now. Oh, I don't have open web UI open. Oh, what did I hit? Open web UI. I don't think I have that. Where am I at? Okay. Oh, I got it. Okay. Yeah, I had a different thing that I had to go ahead and kill as far as a process. But now I should be able to basically log into my app here and get it going. So what I do is now I have this little blur component that's set up. And so I should be able to log in without like exposing too much secrets and things. And yeah, this is kind of cool. The joy of live streaming. This page cannot be found. I'm having some issues. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is clear my cache right now. Whenever you work like with the local network stuff, sometimes like I'm working with multiple apps using the same environment and everything. So when you're doing like the localhost 3000, you have like all these cookies and everything from the same, um, from working on different projects. And so like the cookies and stuff overlap and it's kind of not really cool. So I'm having a problem right now with my app not loading, and it's possible, I don't really know. This page could not be found. Why? Huh. I wonder why it's going to error. Oh, it's doing open web UI. Why? Huh. Oh, never mind. Okay. Yeah, I had to kill the cache and everything. Okay, so a force refresh. Now I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Cool. Now we are. Okay, so now that I'm back in my app, I should be able to see everything. So previously, what we were seeing is just some errors from working on some multiple things. So it has a custom dictionary, and it's now kind of doing this type of thing. And I think on mobile, what I want to do is here. So what it is, like it sort of fixed the mobile view, but we can kind of see we still have these multiple scroll type of things. And so it implemented like one part of it, and it says like tap to explore, but I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of give it this screenshot and say, this is kind of where we're at. Well, let's continue just to iterate here. This does not look too good. So I'm just going to drag my screenshot, and then what are the screenshots do I need? So I think what I should do is like on mobile, the layout is just kind of funny. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to grab that view here, and then just going to just shift. Okay. See, on mobile, the layout is still the layout has regressed. You can see the words overlap, and let's see, is the design more intuitive? Yeah, it's cool. I think, yeah. Yeah. And the UI still has space at the bottom. Still has, and the UI doesn't feel like it is taking up the entire top and bottom of the space. I don't know how you say that. There's still quite a bit of space down below available for it. Okay. So if iPhone Pro, if I do iPhone Pro Max, yeah. Oh, maybe that's it. iPhone Pro, iPhone Plus. Okay. Oh, never mind. I think that was just my issue with my UI. So iPhone Pro Max. Okay. So, but it still like has like multiple scroll bars, which is nasty. Okay. Control W. You can still see the words overlap and the UI doesn't, yeah. And doesn't seem mobile optimized. Yeah. And then for the desktop view, I can give it some feedback. Let's see. Let me just refresh here. Forwards. I want to start with it collapsed. I think collapsible set is open, use state false is open. I think if I do true, right? It should start with it basically the other way. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, no. I don't know what I'm doing. I think that sets the state use is open. So collapsible on open set is open. And then if not open, tap to expand. I think I want to do the opposite. Okay. And then I think on desktop, yeah. So on desktop, yeah. Oh man, it's still kind of funny. So I think what I'll do is like this. I'll send this screenshot. And I'll say on the desktop, it still seems funny that the view is going out of the view, that the collapsible content is open. So why don't we start with it closed? All right, so let me just kind of do this as far as feedback. It's going to say it wants access to this specific screenshot there, and it should be good. Okay. So now it's going to read the screenshots, and it's going to be like, yep. Okay, yes. I'm going to add that too. Cool. So it should be doing its thing there. All right, cool. Kind of catch up a little bit with the comments. Everyone's talking about UltraThink. I built a web UI version of Claude Code that runs in the browser and runs everything on the sandbox using E2B. Dude, how does that work out for you? Is that really cool? I'm really curious to see how that's going to work. Yeah. Yo, what's going on, IO? Glicelia, what's up, y'all? Why not set it up to save the screenshot to clipboard Mac shortcut, then paste it directly into Claude Code instead of using Finder drag and drop? You know, you're so smart. I should actually do that. I've been a little bit. I'll figure out a good workflow because as you see, I like to get sometimes multiple screenshots. So it's just not about copying and pasting one. It's kind of also copying and pasting several. So yeah. So everyone's saying about how Claude Code got nerfed. Anyone else feeling this, like the modules are getting dumber and hitting rate limits faster? I haven't really been hitting this yet, but I'm really curious to see what could be going on. My workflow is literally just planning first and then kind of moving forward, as you can kind of see. So I don't know. I think I chunk out a lot of my plans, and I'm not really sure if certain workflows are kind of more sensitive to this. So far, it's been doing pretty good. So do you work on non-web stuff? Right now, I'm focused more on the web type of things, but yeah, I've done non-web stuff before. I don't detect that Claude Code got nerfed, but the Mac subscription has been less generous, notably. Oh, I'm really curious. Yeah, I haven't really gone super crazy ham on this yet. So let's see what's happening here. So, okay, so now it's going to basically take a look here. So the mobile overlap has now restructured this button, and then it's now done a default collapse state as well. So mobile clean compact header. Okay, cool. Let's see. All right, so let's see. Oh, cool. Wow. I like this. Yeah, that's much cleaner. Like that's much like easier to understand, if you know what I mean. So let me just refresh this and kind of do everything here. Oh, and we just relaunch this. It's got to rebuild. Usually when I do these components, it's got to rebuild. Okay. Refresh. Now it's rebuilding the site. Cool. And select the file. Oh, awesome. Okay, so now we're basically, you know, we have this little expandable thing that people can kind of play with here, which is pretty cool. I like this. This is way more intuitive. I don't like this regression, but whatever. And let me go on mobile. Oh, let me reset the mobile view. This is like a iPhone, iOS bug or something like that. All right, so max size. Okay, this looks good. I think we just need a little bit more of a gap between the top and bottom. But I like this. I like this already. It's already, that's much cleaner. That's a way cleaner. So the hierarchy is like select this model. And then if you're, this is what I kind of am thinking here is like, this is sort of like more in an advanced mode for the custom dictionary. So I don't expect people to always use the custom dictionary. And so I like that this is sort of expandable in there. So if you are curious, this is kind of available to you. And then that way people can kind of take a look in here. So let's just say custom dictionary. It's more like an advanced option, which I kind of prefer. And it's not really like in your face like these ones are. And so I think this is a really good compromise. I like this a lot, actually. All right, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and just commit this right now to my branch because it is already there. I'm just going to make sure I can start to generate the transcripts just to make sure that this at least works. Bro, what happened? Did I cause a regression? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think my app is kind of funny because of the switch. So I'm going to do a quick short. Okay, here we go. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Sweet. Oh, awesome. Yeah, that works really fast. Okay. I like this. So as of now, what I do now is basically, oops, wrong window. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to set up this thing here where I'm going to go ahead and commit the changes. So what I do here is basically I hit the generate commit message. And so this will basically generate a commit message for us. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the little plus sign so that it'll stage all the changes. So it looks like we made some changes to add this package JSON collapsible thing. And then we have this code changes for the actual transcription form. We already reviewed some of this, but basically it's basically taking out the custom dictionary stuff that we had listed here. And we're replacing it with a React component called collapsible dictionary. And then in collapsible dictionary here is kind of the new layout that we're doing for everything for this whole component. So we're leveraging the hook, which is going to be all of our stuff in Convex to get that reactionalness that we're having for all the words. And that's how it gets pulled up into my UI. And in this layout here is basically how we're dealing with this type of thing. As far as collapsible, this is a shadcn component that got installed when it was ran bunx. And then all of our layout stuff looks pretty, like, it looks decent for now. Like, I feel like it's enough for us to kind of make a little stopping point. And I'm just going to go ahead and commit. So I'm going to go ahead and sync the changes. So this will be available in my feature branch. And I just want to make sure it builds. And so one of the ones that I like to do is like bunx. It's bun run build. And so I just want to make sure that I can run the build and there's not any other type errors and like that. So if there is one, it'll usually scream at me here saying, hey, you forgot this specific rule or this specific type or something like that. And generally that's pretty helpful for, fixing bugs or telling Claude Code to fix it. So as of now, we have this type of thing, but I'm not super duper like satisfied with my UI because I need additional padding at the top. So I'm just going to give it like one last thing and then see if it can actually kind of find that. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to drag again can I just paste? No. Yeah. So the paste doesn't have that. Control U. Okay. Yeah, I used to have, I'll have to set up that shortcut or something because, that's what it up. So I'm going to just tell it one last, the changes look really great. I just have one minor issue with the desktop in the fact that we just need a little bit more padding for the top. As you can see here in the screenshot, it's kind of cut off. And then, so now that we have the changes checked in, I'm just going to go ahead and let it kind of do its thing there. And it's going to try to review the code and fix it there. So that should be what's up. Hey, Eddie Steve, thanks for joining in, man. I know you got to drop. I actually have to drop too. I have to head out in like 1 minute, literally. So that's what's up. Oh, wow. Musical chairs. Yes. I've been worried about those boosting the CC usage that they've been costing Anthropic thousands of dollars with max subscriptions. I think this has happened whether they realize it or not. To me, it was just more about a revelation and like how much people are really going to spend. And I don't think that really stops them. I think it just allows you to understand where you sit in this whole thing and whether you're getting your, money's worth or not and stuff. So yeah, that's what's up. I didn't have enough time to get to all the comments, but definitely I'll try to see if I can get to that in the future. I know a lot of folks are, kind of coming in. So right now, before I head on out, I literally have like a couple minutes before I head out. I just want to get to my members first. And if you want to become a member, you can feel free to join at RayFernando1337 on YouTube. Hit that little join button and then you can become, it's $6.99. You get into the Discord. I already have like 60 something members. So when I reach to 100, my first 100 members, the price will double for the access to the Discord and become a member and so forth. So this is going to be like a second tier to get into the Discord, which would be really awesome. Eddie, just saw you live. Basically, is there a schedule that I'm following for the month? As of right now, basically just doing every day, literally for the month of July and August, for most of August. I call it the summer of streaming. So trying to show up sometime between 9 and 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. It tends to be right around this time frame. I want to make sure I take care of things with family and stuff. And then I'm able to hop on the stream for a little bit to kind of get on. So yeah, if you have any questions and stuff, definitely hop in. Since you're a member, there's a post you can go into to sign up for the Discord. Follow the instructions in there and I'll get you into the Discord because you're a member. And then we can chat as well. It's pretty active now. I have some folks who are asking some questions this morning. I was going to make sure I can get there as well. So yeah, let me see if there's any other member stuff that are dropping through. I appreciate everyone who's been able to kind of join in on the stream so far to get cooking with us. So, love Bacon Overflow. I always love it when you have some comments. Anthropic could say 1 million tokens is $50 million, but that doesn't mean it's the real price. That's exactly it. But yeah, we're probably using it more than we're paying for the $200 a month plan. I agree. Yeah, I don't know exactly what their whole data center situation is, but yeah. For the transcription form, it looks like it just added more padding from PT6 to PT8, which is good. Um, and it should have done it. Let me just refresh. It's possible that that's the issue. It's possible it's not. So, oh, I need to basically rerun my site whenever there's like a specific change to that part of the code. Let me just fix this here. All right. I really do need to go. Like, I'm going to be a minute late. My friend's going to be mad, but it's okay. Y'all are worth it. Okay. No, it didn't really fix it, but I got to go for real. Okay. But at least we have this in here. I haven't checked this into production yet. I want to do some more testing before I check that in, but just a quick summary for those who are just tuning in. This is just part one of this multi-step series of how I get cooking with Claude Code inside of Cursor. And so we're able to utilize the plan mode, the UltraThink mode, and some additional sauce that I had for rules for it to follow my actual design rules. And that what we did there is able to look through my code. It saw I had shadcn installed. It saw I had Tailwind 4C installed because of these rules files. And not only that, it followed my design guidelines, which is super duper awesome. So if you want to check everything out, check it out at rayfernando.ai as far as like those blog posts. If you want to become a member to support the channel, definitely really appreciate it. I'm trying to get my first 100 members, which is going to be super awesome. And then this will allow me to get like a full-time editor so that I can go ahead and start cutting up some of these live streams to save a bunch of my members' time. So these smaller live streams will be available to members first, and then later on to the general public. But if you want to watch the entire live streams, you can go ahead and do that. After the live stream, I'm going to go do some processing, and we'll have timestamps below. So if you want to go back at any time, you can go ahead and look through those timestamps to help guide you across for any things you have. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm here every single day in the summer, 9 a.m., 10 a.m.-ish Pacific Daylight Time, and you can just pop in here. If you're a member, you're definitely going to get your questions answered first on the live stream. Sometimes it's just too crazy to get to everyone's questions, and I will try to filter them and try to go through them when I can. But if you do drop a comment, I read the comments later on, so I will be watching the video and looking for your guys' comments for there. So thank you so much for joining in. If you want to check out Ray Transcribes, I do have a code for you. If you type in Ray Cooks, RAYCOOKS, Ray Cooks, this coupon code will get you $15 off of my app. So if you just go to raytranscribes.com and then just type in this code, you should be able to basically get a little bit of a discount for cooking with Ray, and appreciate everyone who's been able to join. So just if you go in here, and then you just go ahead and start, want to start captioning, go down here. Any one of these plans, you just get 15 bucks off and apply it for whatever you are. So yeah, basically you just get a month free for starter, or if you want to get into the beta, you just pay $5 to get into the beta basically for the first month. Or $15 total. So yeah, enter the code Ray Cooks at the checkout, and I will be cooking with y'all very, very soon. Peace out, y'all.